Hello, darkness, my old friend. You've come to talk with me again. Sens lose 5-2 to the Montreal Canadiens. It's been a while since I've had to sing the song, and it's been a while since I've had to say that line, so I guess I can't be too upset. But they lost 5-2, and they lost to Montreal, so there's that. I hate the Canadiens. As a Sens fan, with the way the games have been going lately, and with the history these teams have recently, I have to say, I'm beginning to hate the Habs even more than the Leafs, which is saying something, considering it's the Leafs. As always though, let's start off with lineup changes. Oh, yeah, sorry. There wasn't any. There's really nothing to say. The Sens rolled with the same 18 skaters and the same starting netminder for the second game in a row. In the early going though, yeah, keeping the lines the same, it didn't work out so well, as the Habs got on the board first. Domi and Drouin race in on a 2-on-1 on Cachet. Domi feeds Drouin, he beats Andy, and the Habs take an early 1-0 lead. I reamed out Harper for his play on a 2-on-1 earlier this season, and the truth is, he deserved it. But after watching this one, it's tough to blame Cachet on this one. Typically, 2-on-1s are high-speed situations. On this one, the Sens were so badly caught that Domi had time to not only stop, but stand still. That left Cachet in no man's land. Does he stay in the middle and try to take away the pass, while also protecting from Domi taking the puck to the net? Does he take away Domi's lane to the net, leaving Drouin wide open? Or does he follow Drouin and leave Domi wide open to skate into the net? Credit to Cachet, who wisely picked door number 1, but couldn't quite make the deal work out, as Domi's pass got through and he couldn't knock it down, and that gave the Habs the early lead. Like I said, I don't blame Cachet or Andy for this one. They did the best job they could given the situation. I blame the other 4 skaters on the ice. How could all 4 of them be so badly caught that it gave Domi enough time to not only stop, but stand still on a 2-on-1? Not a good look, not a good play, and it proved costly. Fortunately, that was the only damage the Sens would take as we get to the first intermission, with the Habs in front 1-0. And even better, the Sens come out in the second and tie the score. A few minutes after Brady Tkachuk's in-tight shot goes off the crossbar, Chris Tierney wins the faceoff and Mikhail Bodker tips it back to Dylan DeMello at the blue line. DeMello fires a shot that gets through a screen and by Carey Price, as the San Jose trio combine to tie the score at 1. Credit to those 3. All 3 came to Ottawa under extremely difficult circumstances, as all 3 were part of trades that Sens fans felt were very underwhelming. But all 3 have been real solid at various times this season, all 3 have contributed when needed, and all 3 have made those trades at least a little bearable. Unfortunately though, the tie didn't last long, as the Sens had an old trend rear its ugly head again. Just over 5 minutes left in the period, Domi makes it 2-1. Less than 3 minutes after that, Domi scores again, and it's 3-1. Less than a minute after that, Arturi Lehkonen scores and the Habs lead 4-1. 3 Habs goals in less than 4 minutes. The Sens go from being tied at 1 with 5 minutes left to trailing by 3 with a minute to play. Just terrific. Let's unpackage those goals a little bit too. The second goal was, well, I'm not exactly sure what the second goal was. Thomas Chabot rims the puck around the wall to Colin White. He's standing there waiting for it, but when the camera pans over to him, he's sitting on the ice and Jonathan Drouin skating by him to pick up the puck. Drouin fires it by Anderson, and the Habs take their lead back. What happened to White? That's really where this play breaks down. The Sens are in fine position all the way around. That is, of course, until White is either tripped or fell down. I'm going to assume he fell down, because if he was tripped, it would have been called. With that in mind, what a tough break. The Sens are in fine position, then one of their players hits a rut in the ice and falls down, and the puck quickly ends up in the back of your net. Just a tough break, but like I've mentioned many times this season, if somebody had covered the front of the net and stopped Domi from shooting, that would have been great too. But even worse than that, they didn't regroup from the tough break, and they let it bite them again. The Habs race in 3-on-3, Drouin drops it to Domi, he fires a wrister by Andy, and it's 3-1. Another one where the Sens just get caught. Yes, technically it was a 3-on-3, but it was a loose one at that, as the Sens' third player was back-checking hard. That gave Domi the space he needed to skate in behind Drouin, and it gave him the space he needed to wrist it by Andy. Alright boys, couple bad goals late in the period, put an end to it. Not today. The Habs skate in 3-on-4. Shaw feeds Kotkaniemi, he sends a cross-ice feed to Lehkonen, he taps it in the empty net, and the Habs lead 4-1. Are you kidding me? First of all, The streak rolls on, as like I mentioned, that's 3 goals in 4 minutes. But this goal, it was by far the worst of the 3. The Habs have 3 skaters in the Sens zone, the Sens have 4, yet somehow the Habs still run roughshod over the Sens. How in the heck can you have a positional advantage like that and still give up a cross-ice feed? It's just awful. Fortunately though, the Sens managed to get to the intermission only trailing by those 3 goals. But the lead, yeah, it did grow in the third. Tatar steals the puck off Harper, he feeds Gallagher, who wrists it by Andy, and it's 5-1. Ben Harper is 6'6", 222 pounds. Thomas Tatar is 5'10", 182 pounds. Tatar gave up 8 inches and 40 pounds, yet he still easily took the puck off Harper. Yes, the front of the net wasn't covered, again, but man alive, how can the Sens expect to ever be successful when their biggest player gives up 8 inches and 40 pounds and still can't win the puck battle? Just pathetic. The Sens do stop the bleeding, finally, as Duchesne feeds Stone, he one-times it by Price, and the Sens trail 5-2. That's all she wrote though, as the game winds down and the Habs skate away with the 5-2 win. Ottawa's best players weren't their best players, and Montreal's, they were. Add in the fact that Ottawa's defensive effort was very lackluster, and the game ended exactly how it should have. Of course, as always, let's dive in to good news, bad news. The good news for the Sens, they get to go home and take on the Habs again on Thursday. Right back on the wagon against the team you just lost to, it's perfect. Losing stinks. It's never fun. But when you lose to a team and then don't get to see them for a while, you lose the motivation of seeing them and thinking, that's the team that just beat us. The urgency, it's just not the same. The Sens, they have max urgency now, as they play the Habs again right away and get to do it on home ice. It's a perfect chance to exact revenge, and that is good news. And we really need to exact revenge on the Habs as well, as the Sens have just 2 wins in their last 9 games against Montreal. Now, for the bad news. The road is not a good place for the Sens, and it showed itself again in this game, and that is bad news. Ottawa's last 2 games were real solid, but both came on home ice. This game came on the road, and all of the defensive issues the Sens have had over the last 2 months, yeah, they reared their ugly head in this one. Matchups kill this team, and it did so again against the Habs. The Habs' top pair of Drouin and Domi, they combined for 3 goals and 3 assists. There has to be a way to manage these matchups better. Maybe it's time Boucher says, to heck with just playing. We're going to be a tried and true matchup team. No matter who the other team puts on the ice, we're going to match up to that. If the Habs send their top line out there, the Sens will immediately change and get their checkers out against them. I know players can get caught trapped in their own end, making it tougher, but it's still an option. It's not a very effective way to play hockey, and it kills the flow for the Sens players, but they haven't exactly shown an ability to play any other way, so why not try something new? I wish the Sens could just roll 4 lines and not have to worry about anything, but they can't. They get filled in almost every night on the road because they can't manage the matchups, and that's bad news. How would you change how the Sens play on the road to get a better result more often? Is it as simple as being more committed to line matching? Leave a comment down below with how you would fix things. Fortunately, like I mentioned in my good news segment, the Sens return home on Thursday night for the back half of their home and home with the Habs. Unfortunately, the loss to the Habs cost the Sens any chance of pulling into a 3-way tie for the final playoff spot with the Canadiens and Rangers. They now sit 4 points back of the Habs with 5 teams between them. A win could cut their deficit back to 2, but a loss would push it to 6. I don't want to say it's a must-win, but if the Sens want to keep pace with the Habs for the final playoff spot, a win would be huge. I would like that. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more Sens videos in the future. See ya Thursday night.